Stop whatever you are doing right now. This is not background content. This is a word that reached you at this exact moment, not by coincidence, not by algorithm, but because there is something you need to hear before another day passes. Set down what is in your hands. This one is for you. You have been walking alongside an enemy who was wearing the face of a friend. You smiled at that face. You fed it from your table. You shared your thoughts, your fears, your plans, the things that only someone trusted gets to know. And somehow, through all of it, you kept feeling like something was wrong, not broken, not destroyed, just off, like a note played slightly flat in a song you know by heart. You couldn't name it. You couldn't explain it to anyone without sounding paranoid. But you felt it in your body every single time that person was near. Chosen one, you passed this test. You discerned with your spirit what your mind could not yet articulate. That is not weakness. That is the gift of God working in you before you even knew what you were sensing. Today, in less than a minute, the veil over who has been sitting at your table was torn, not by your accusations, not by your investigation. It was torn in the divine court, and Michael moved this morning on your behalf. The archangel who stands at the threshold between the sacred and the defiled, who drove out what did not belong, who does not negotiate with assigned enemies. He moved, and you are here because that revelation was meant to reach you today. You did not find this video found you, not through a recommendation engine, not through trending topics. You got here because of divine alignment, and now that you are here, I need you to sit with what I'm about to say. Think about the last several months. Think about the strange heaviness you carry after certain conversations. Think about money that arrives and then vanishes without explanation, not spent on anything you can account for, just gone, like something is quietly bleeding from your resources. Think about the decisions you cannot seem to make, the fog that settles over your mind every time you try to plan, to move, to build. You replay conversations at 2 in the morning, conversations that should have been long forgotten, because something in those exchanges planted seeds in you that you have not yet pulled out by the roots. Your body does not lie. Your nervous system knows. It has been running on alert. Not fear exactly, but vigilance, the quiet exhaustion of someone who has been guarding against a threat they cannot fully see. And the question that keeps surfacing, the one you barely let yourself think all the way through, is this. Why does everything seem to flow for other people, but my life stays stuck? Why is there always something blocking the door right before I walk through it? I need you to do something right now. Before we go any further, if what I am describing is your life, touch the like button. Not as a social media action, as a prophetic agreement. You are saying yes to the revelation that Michael brought this morning. You are activating a prayer over your next 72 hours. Clarity. Clarity about who is at your table. Clarity about what has been draining you. That simple act is a declaration. Press it now. Here is what I know to be true. What has been draining you has a name. It is not vague spiritual fatigue. It is not your personality. It is not bad luck. There is a name for it, and there is a way out. And that way out is laid out step by step in the Solomon Code, which you will find pinned in the comments section below. That resource exists for exactly this moment, for people who are not willing to keep living inside the fog. Go find it in the comments. But first, stay with me for a few more minutes, because what I am about to say will prepare you to receive everything in that guide. There is a story in the scriptures that most people read as history and miss as prophecy for their own lives. David, the king, the man after God's own heart, had a counselor named Ahithophel. This man sat at his table. He knew David's strategies, his vulnerabilities, his rhythms. He was trusted at the level that only years of proximity can produce. And then, when Absalom rose against David, Ahithophel switched sides. He did not fight from a distance. He advised the enemy from within. He took everything he had learned at David's table and handed it to the opposition. In Psalm 41, verse 9, David writes, "Even my close friend in whom I trusted, who ate my bread, has lifted his heel against me." The pain in that line is not the pain of a stranger's betrayal. It is the specific, disorienting agony of someone who broke bread with you, who sat close enough to know your name, choosing to become your undoing. That kind of wound is not like a cut. It is more like a slow leak. You do not always see where the blood is going. You just know you are getting weaker. What David experienced was not merely political, it was a table war. And the reason so many chosen ones find themselves confused, depleted, and stuck is not because they are failing. It is because the battlefield is set at the table, not the boardroom, not the street, not the workplace, at the table. Where you let your guard down, where you are supposed to be safe. Now let me give you something practical, something you can use tonight. I call it the three-gap diagnosis, rooted in Proverbs 17:28 and Psalm 41:9. There are three gaps that reveal whether someone at your table is a builder or a drainer, a covenant presence or an assigned adversary. The first gap is relational. Sit quietly and ask yourself, who at my table consistently leaves me feeling heavier after every interaction? Not someone who occasionally has a hard day, not someone going through a season. I mean someone whose presence reliably costs you, your energy, your peace, your sense of direction, your financial clarity. You do not have to accuse anyone. You do not have to say a word out loud. Just name the person, honestly, in the privacy of your own soul. That name is important. The second gap is temporal. For the next 72 hours, I want you to observe one thing. What gets worse after every contact with that person? Track it. Is it insomnia? Do you lie awake replaying what was said or what was not said? Is it clouded decision-making? Suddenly the thing you were clear about becomes murky again. Is it financial slippage? Money gets tight, or a deal falls through, or an unexpected expense appears within days of contact. You are not looking for coincidence. You are looking for a pattern. Patterns are how God speaks clearly when we are too close to see what is happening. The third gap is spiritual. Ask yourself honestly, which prayer stopped or became hollow and mechanical since that person came into your inner circle? Because the enemy does not always attack your finances first. He attacks your prayer first. He attacks the altar. If you have noticed that your communication with God has gone cold or dry or absent, and the timeline of that drift coincides with someone's presence at your table, that is not a coincidence. That is a diagnosis. Proverbs 17:28 says, "Even a fool who keeps silent is considered wise. When he closes his lips, he is deemed intelligent." David did not confront Ahithophel publicly. He prayed. He moved quietly. He asked God to turn Ahithophel's counsel into foolishness. And in 2 Samuel 15:31 we see exactly that. And David said, "O Lord, please turn the counsel of Ahithophel into foolishness." Your silence in this season has not been cowardice. It has been strategy. The enemy wanted your reaction. He wanted you loud, accusatory, unstable. He wanted to make you the story instead of himself. Your restraint has been the hand of God keeping you from playing into the setup. Do not apologize for it. But here is the gap that I will not let you walk past. A diagnosis without a protocol is a kind of cruelty. It is not enough to know you have been drained. It is not enough to name the person, trace the pattern. Identify the third gap. Knowledge without a next step is just pain with a label, and you have carried enough labeled pain. What you need now is not one more piece of information. What you need is discernment, the specific, God-given capacity to see clearly and then move with wisdom, not with reaction. Michael revealed it. The veil is torn, but revelation is only the beginning. The era of war over your table is closing. What is opening now is the era of governing your table, deciding who has access, who builds there, and who is no longer welcome in that sacred space. This is not about becoming suspicious of everyone. It is about becoming clear. It is about stewarding the intimacy you carry, because not everyone deserves a seat at the table of a chosen one's life. The Solomon Code, in the pinned comment below, gives you 3 specific movements for this season. They are not generic advice. They are a sequence of the same kind of sequence David moved in when Ahithophel turned. They will walk you from diagnosis to discernment to action. Go find that comment, read it carefully. Apply the first movement before this week is over. And now, as we close, I want to ask you for one thing. Write your city and your state in the comments right now. Then write this phrase underneath it. I know who I am. That is your decree for today. You are not confused. You are not defeated. You are a chosen one who just received a word that heaven cleared your schedule to deliver. Writing those words is how you mark the moment. It is how you say, out loud where the atmosphere can hear it, that you received what was sent. And if someone in your life needs to hear this today, if you know someone who has been carrying this exact weight and does not have the words for it, share this video with them. That act of sharing is a seed. You are not just blessing someone else. You are releasing something in your own life when you become the vessel through which a word travels. The Solomon Code will still be in that pinned comment tomorrow and the day after. But I want to be honest with you. What we postpone has a way of becoming what we never do. The clarity that Michael released this morning does not have an expiration date, but the urgency of this moment does. Decide when you will act. Decide today. May wisdom from above be your foundation today. May your soul find rest. Until we meet again.